They want to get through this as fast as possible.
I suppose so. They heard that I was hungry and wanted dinner, and they decided they would make it happen.
Howdy, fuddly.
We see the Heimerdinger bat throwaway ban come through.
Well, Heimerdinger is not necessarily a throwaway ban. It certainly has an extremely annoying lane phase and turret take.
Every ban from TTV Emilya is a throwaway ban, though. Did you see the way wave clear ban come through? Haven't necessarily seen this pick anywhere near as high priority as potentially expected after day one.
Well, to be fair, the only team who was really playing it on day one was the team who was named after the champion.
They did make it look good though, and with wave clear being strong for parts of this tournament as well. Also say the Ari ban. They did play earlier in the tournament. We now see the Ivan ban come from Lost Riddlers. Maybe Lost Riddlers are going to take up the throwaway ban strategy as well. See if it's a good luck charm for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's been working for TTV Emilya. Might as well give it a shot, right?
They ban away the Rock. And we see the Swain pickup. Interesting to see where that does go. I feel like any of these players should be able to play and pilot Swain relatively effectively.
Well, you know, another trend with TTV Emilya is that these guys have literally just been picking their own champions, so it could be a chance that this is a Decimate Swain top lane.
You see the Galio response, so if enemy team picks a lot of AP, the Galio will find higher and higher presence and solid usage in this game.
We're gonna get the Joe Buggy Zed Classic, potentially. We'll have to see if they lock it in.
The Zed is actually locked in.
We saw Joe Buggy have a fantastic game on Zed, and we get the Kazakhs!
And we get
Let's
the Lulu as
fucking
well.
go, and the Lulu. Oh my goodness.
Some classic champions from these players and a very interesting Lulu pickup.
Yeah, maybe a chance for Los Riddlers to take a game. Although at the same time, you can never be too sure.
They are
Void has a
offering the
lethal
Blitzcrank.
Kazakhs.
They are going to switch it up with the Lee Sin lock-in, which we saw from Decimate earlier. Be interesting to see if they play the Lee Sin into Decimate and try and show him how to actually play this champion and level the correct abilities, as we heard earlier.
You know, I'm gonna be honest, I don't like it. I feel like Lee Sin, very, very difficult to play into Lulu. Your Q can get canceled by the Lulu knockup. You can go in and then get polyed. It just doesn't really seem like the best pick they could have gone. Same thing for the Zed. I feel like Zed's gonna struggle against Lulu a lot.
I do hope to see this Galio probably being given to 3 He's and a half. The other 2 picks are very mechanical, and we'd love to see the 2 other players connect together on the map again.
Prediction is a go. Once again, we have TTV Emilya on blue side, Los Riddlers on red side. The points slowly rolling in for Los Riddlers. We've already got 130 on them. 0 points on TTV Emilya, maybe a chance to bet the odds.
Except for Galio, both Zed and Lee Sin, as you already brought up, definitely don't want to be going into the Lulu, which means they'll be going into Swain and Kazakhs. Kazakhs should be a relatively skill-based matchup. However, the Swain isn't going to be too favorable either.
I'm still just excited that we get the Bone Void Kazakhs in grand finals. I'm excited to see how he'll do. Kazakhs has had decent lane phases in the past few years. Every now and then, Kazakhs top doesn't suck horribly. So we'll see if Kazakhs can pilot or we'll see if Bone Void can pilot the Kazakh solo lane. And of course, if he can get into that mid game, then he'll be able to show how deadly his one trick is. About 45 seconds left on the prediction, and still 0 points placed on TTV Emilya.
will be interesting to see if the Galio decides to pick up any aggressive AP items in this game, or is just going to go full tank as well. Definitely can opt into the full tank.
I don't think we're going to see full tank from the Kazakhs. I think at most we'll see maybe like a Shojin would be the tankiest.
Yeah, tankiest item should probably be Sojin. This game, except for the Galio, should be relatively fine going any more aggressive of the itemization.
You know, the other option that we could see is, of course, the AP Kazakhs with the Leandri's Blackfire Burn combo with the W. You know, you never know. Bone Void said they were cooking.
They could be cooking. I just don't want to see Tank Lulu again. Wins lane while doing nothing at the same time.
Yeah, perhaps we'll get an Enchanter or an AP. It'll be very telling. As soon as we see the Keystones, we'll know pretty much what everybody's game plan is.
I do like the draft that Lost Riddlers have got together. It does seem to make a lot of sense. You got two characters that can tower dive decently well. You got the kick from the Lisa that can start some amazing flank engages if they are ever to find it. And the Galio can use the ult to get into any combat, but...
Yeah, I still hate it. I think all three of these champions suck horribly into Lulu. I cannot wait for their full dive comp to crash and burn.
You see the Ghost Heal Spellbook on the Lulu. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, of course, I am a Spellbook connoisseur. I take Spellbook almost every single game when I play solo queue, so I know a thing or two. If you're gonna take Spellbook, Ghost Heal is not the worst starting setup. Usually what you want to do is that there are 4 important summoner spells: Ghost, Flash, Ignite, Exhaust. Well, 5 if you count the teleport. And the big thing is you want to avoid taking 2 of them, because with Spellbook, you need to swap 3 times before you can go back to one that you used before, so you have to have a rotation of 4 spells. If you end up with a combat setup like Flash Ignite, then you could swap to the Ghost, Exhaust, and the Teleport, but then you're going to have one dud zone where you're going to have to go something like Barrier or Clarity. So Ghost Heal, pretty decent. This means that you can use the heal as your throwaway spot and then continue to cycle the other 4 important spells there. However, the question to be remained is, does DJ Chu even know how Spellbook works? I feel like pretty much nobody knows how Spellbook works.
Seemed as if he will be experienced on it though, saying that he played it 3 seasons ago for potentially up to 30 games. So could see a lane masterclass here.
Okay. And we'll be seeing the Kazakhs going into the Zed. And then the Lee Sin going into the Swain top.
You gotta feel the Lee Sin's gonna struggle massively in this matchup though.
Could find an advantage at the beginning, has the electrocute, could get some good trades off, but yeah, I mean, the later and later we go without Lee Sin finding an advantage, the worse and worse it gets.
As you say, if the Lee Sin does get ahead, there it is a decent matchup to keep steamrolling, but yeah, you definitely need to make sure that you're not running behind. Swain does have Ghost as well, so if you do force bad death timers or backs for this Swain, you're able to get some advantage from that. Already seeing some great poke coming out of Lulu in the mid lane. He's in control over the lane and keeping it in the middle. Probably roughly where you want it in the mid lane.
It's like Lee Sin maybe trying to bait out a Swain E there, but Swain does not take the bait, we'll just hold on to the abilities.
Lee Sin's going to be struggling, already falling down to half HP. Already going to be starting to leak down some CS in this matchup. Kazakh's also getting some nice trades on the bot side. Does get hit by an E, which is going to force him even lower. Nice trades from the Kazakhs. Uses to shadow back further away from his turret, but that does seem to give him enough space away from the Kha'Zix.
Yeah, of course, the one thing that you do have to keep in mind for the Zed is that Zed gets enhanced damage from his passive when enemies are under half health, so the Kha'Zix's not taking very much damage right now, but as soon as he goes under that half health threshold, we could be seeing a surprise amount of burst.
Lulu constantly just using the harass over the top of the wave just to keep pushing this Galio's health bar slowly down. Doesn't really ever truly have threat on to kill. And as you say, as soon as that Kha'Zix slips below half HP, that health bar seems to disappear all the way down to a quarter.
Looks like Lee Sin roaming onto the Lulu mid. We'll see if they can find anything through the skank. Looks like we have a flash E taunt.
Will be quite low. The slow should come out, but nice polymorph, but the Q follow does secure the kill.
Yeah, Ghost Heal used for Lulu, and First Blood will still be going over to Los Riddlers, so nice little pickup from them. They were also able to get the TP out of the Kha'Zix, so we'll see if Zed chooses to TP back or chooses to walk back.
Lee Sin does get a nice golden flux from getting the kill, but having already TP'd to the top side, then making the roam, won't be able to spend that gold. They will struggle potentially in the lane until he can get his next back off.
Yeah, Lee Sin with a slight gold lead, but Swain sitting on that tier base.
Zed does have a nice item advantage in the bot lane. You see the tier picked up by the Kha'Zix as well. Nice stone coming from 3 H's and a half, but gets polymorphed. Is probably just going to have to walk it off. Gets away just before the Kha'Zix roam, even with that pesky slow from the Lulu.
Kha'Zix maybe looking for a dive.
Does flash for it. It's taunted with the turret, but is able to get out before taking too many turret shots. This Lee Sin is looking very diveable. If Decimate gets level 6 before this Lee Sin backs away, he might just look for the dive as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, Galio having no mana there wasn't able to really do anything about it, and it does appear as though the Kha'Zix is going to just be able to pick up a free kill here.
Looks for the kick early on, but the flash follow from the Swain gets the kill after the choke from the Kha'Zix. I don't think Lee potentially could have flashed away from that though.
Yeah, maybe wasn't expecting the Swain Q flash to come through. In the meantime though, Joe Buggy was able to at least get one plate, working towards that second plate as well.
Galio already picking up some magic resist. There's almost going to be no pokes now from this Lulu in the lane. Should just be able to shove in lane after wave. And maybe look for some roams with the ultimate available to them.
Joe Buggy now sitting on 1,000 gold, but gonna have a hard time figuring out when to base since he opted to stay for those extra plates.
He's sitting on a little bit of a roam here, but Lulu is backing in the turret. It's cancelled actually. Lee Sin might just opt for the Scuttle Crab though instead of the roam.
Yeah, Lulu did swap out the heal for the teleport though, so this is gonna be a pretty easy reset for her.
Lee Sin gotta be careful here. Don't get hit by the E as well. Tries to Q forward onto the Swain. Tries to buy space. Has flash available. This should be safe from this. But gets hit by the E. Oh, it's pop. It's forced to flash and the dies. You gotta think if he flashes sooner and away from the E, he lives there.
Definitely greedy from Big Fat Turkey. Not been having the greatest series. I'm getting solo killed on that Noodly in game 1 and then now on the Lee Sin struggling in game 2. You have to wonder where some of his earlier picks were. He had multiple games on both Jace and Renekton, so I'm curious as to why neither of those are coming out.
Lulu is on a roam, but you gotta think that the Galio should be able to match perfectly well. Kha'Zix is cut away from the turret. Lulu is gonna be able to cut off the Zed with the slow and the polymorph. The Galio should be here in time to help, with the heroic soldiers coming down. He's shielding over to the Zed and buys enough space and forces Lulu off.
Yeah, to be honest, that was a pretty bad Galio ult. You would have preferred if he was gonna go for some kind of play. Maybe he could have gone for the flash taunt instead.
And backs away before the Lulu backs away. Now the Zed's potentially caught off. The Lulu slow should be coming through. Polymorph available just as the Kha'Zix sleeps in. Knife flash away. Just keep himself alive.
Yeah, nice little overstay from the Lulu, managing to get more than what most Riddlers thought. But the Lee Sin going to cover the mid lane now. We'll see if he can pick up 2 plates here.
He's got to be careful of this Lulu slow. There is no one else around, so should be fine. It's a nice trade initially, but it's polymorphed out of looking for any more. That does TP up to the top side to respond to the wave crash from Decimate. So they won't be losing too much of CS on the map due to these rotations, but still unfortunate for the Zed to go down. Although looking at it, Boneboy has actually only got 37 CS this game. It's TPing behind the Galio.
Behind the Galio.
And it does also have a lack of mana. Nice knockout of the leap. Gets a nice taunt on the follow-up as well. Even with the low mana, should be able to potentially just walk this off.
Galio will have the TP coming up soon, so I should be able to catch any attempts of Boneboy for hard pushing this wave.
Going with a roam into mid, but probably isn't going to be able to find any kind of dive potential onto this Lulu. I might just look to go back to the bot lane with the Galio TPing top.
And now we have Galio and Swain, which I think is a little bit of a better matchup than what they had going on. Just depends though. I mean, Galio in theory is fine with the Swain, and also on these item spikes should be fine, but the Swain, Grandmaster's player, Galio, Iron player, maybe the rank discrepancy will make the lane matchup null and void.
You got a feel with Galio completing this first item though that no matter what kind of CT is landed by this Swain, this Galio should be able to perfectly survive this lane. If anything, it's actually winning out the first trade we see from them. It should be able to get most of the CS. But it's stunned out away from getting the 1 minion. And the Zed is looking at getting this first turret in trade for the Void Grubs.
And as a quick reminder, I believe that it was Los Riddlers who picked up the first blood. So if they manage to take this turret, that would be feats of strength for them.
Lead does place a ward, but as soon as you see the Swain getting nearby, you're not going to want to be going for this. Lulu rotates up as well, finds the slow and the polymorph. The Decimate and Kha'Zix are both low. So it goes for the engage, but instantly decides to back away.
Big swing and the miss on the Void Grubs for TTV Emilya. And meanwhile, they will be losing that turret. They should have feats. I'm pretty sure they got first blood, but I can't tell just yet as nobody has completed their tier 2 boots.
Galio also with Demolish should be able to get 2 plates potentially out of this time on the top wave now. Massive gold influx. Only actually gets the 1 plate. Might greed for the second one. The Kha'Zix coming up to the top wave. Should be relatively safe to get it. Does take 1 turret shot though. I just put him at half HP. He comes out from the Kha'Zix, nice CC, but then still under turret rage, and that is 3 he's in a hard, overstaying for a turret plate. Lee is back into the Swain matchup, gets a nice kick on the turret, followed with the slow. Swain does have ult available to him, gets the nice E. It's a nice W landed on as well. Finds a massive turnaround after a nice kick from the Lee Sin.
Yeah, Lee Sin just overestimating how tanky the Swain is with that Rylai's giving him the 450 bonus HP. Also, even if the Swain felt like he was in trouble, still had the flash, could have just flashed out of the turret, so Decimate clearly not worried at any point.
Galio is going to rotate back into the Swain. And at this point in the game, although Lee Sin and Zed probably do struggle into the Lulu, you might want to think that the Galio matchup is actually better at this point.
And Zed picking up more plates here. Actually, the strongest person in the game right now, according to Gold.
As he did get almost the entire bot turret by himself, has picked up enough of plate in the top lane. Might just be looking to take his ready turrets off of the map as quickly as possible by himself now. With TTV Emilya only getting one of the 3 Void Grubs, they don't have any of the feats of strength, even if it... And it's already been picked up by the enemy team as well. They might not even prioritize it as much as normal, considering even if they do take it, they'd have to take it within the next few seconds, otherwise it's going to transform into the Rift Herald.
Nice little ultimate coming out from Joe Buggy, going to execute the Kazakhs. And with that, potentially this top tier turret, this top tier 1 turret going down as well.
Is able to clear out the wave under that turret, so the next wave can just really get to the turret as well, and that's another turret influx of gold into Joe Buggy. And Lulu does rotate up, but with the gold advantage that you do see on to the Zed, he should be relatively safe no matter what now. Doesn't have ult available to him to force anything, but if he's with the Lee Sin, if a good kick is found, they might be able to find it, but instead they might just focus the turret. Kazakhs does rotate into the mid lane. Lulu does have ult available to help, but after taking a bit of it, they are able to walk it off. And that is a near 2k gold lead for Lost Riddlers.
Yeah, they're making it happen after after TTV Emilya intentionally into draft. TP coming behind from the Zed. They're going to make a play on this Swain. Do they have the damage?
Yes, they're going to have to get this very quickly. Nice taunt available to the Galio. We'll have to make sure that they do sidestep some of this damage from the Swain. And the Lulu is on the way.
And no Zed ult yet.
Oh, available. Heroic entrance does come onto the Zed to keep it alive during the polymorph. That's a nice amount of damage from the Swain. Nice knock up onto the Zed as well. They might have to turn away from this, but even so, with the Lulu slows, flashes away. Galio has flash as well, but they won't be able to score the kill, as Lulu does wrap back around with the slow. He's able to find the kill onto the Galio, and that might be at the turret as well.
Yeah, definitely not the best idea to go for that play. Maybe if they had the Zed ult at the start, but Zed's ult was on cooldown when they engaged against the Swain, so never going to have the damage to kill somebody that tanky.
I'm gonna have to leave you to solo commentate for a moment. Sorry about that.
No problem. Let's see though. If nothing else though, this will be potentially the longest game time that TTV Emilya has had to endure. They've never had a game reach 20 minutes, but I fail to see how they're going to end this one in just 3.5. Blue team now pinging the Herald. Maybe looking for a 3v3, thinking if they group up with Decimate, they have the advantage. And again, even though Los Riddlers technically has the gold advantage, very hard for those 3 champions to play into a Lulu Poly. The entire game might be decided here. Galio caught out, landing the taunt only on the Swain. Zed going in, getting Poly. Lulu Poly is down. If they're gonna go, they have to go now, but Lee Sin gets his Q canceled by the Lulu knockup. It's looking like an absolute disaster. Joe Buggy, the strongest member of Los Riddlers, is trapped in the middle of everybody on the enemy team, and they will be almost wiped. Lee Sin can do nothing. They will get the Herald. If there was a way for TTV Emilya to end this game by the 20-minute mark, this would be it.
Massive team swipe fight from the Swain. Absolutely just able to pop that ultimate and surrounded by all 3 enemies for portions of that fight. Perfect situation for them with the Lulu coming in with the healing as well. Massively turns the game in their favor, and you gotta think that the Rift Herald is arguably the biggest win from them, even with the 2 kills.
Yeah, and again, you just have to question what exactly Big Fat Turkey has been thinking in this series. Is he drunk? Is he high? Picking Nidalee in Game 1, Lee Sin in Game 2, completely useless in both. Especially when he's been showing some strong performances on Jace earlier in the tournament, and Jace was up and available. didn't go for that. You would have to think that when Joe Buggy's on his signature Zed that they would have taken the draft as seriously as possible so as not to just lose the pick.
At this point in the game, Lost Widows have to caution themselves, make sure that they're not overextended for anything. But this Lulu on this Kha'Zix still can be found out and killed. It's just that this Swain is now a massive problem for them.
And Swain with the Leandry's complete. I mean, we're almost getting to the point where I feel like the Swain could just walk at them 1v3 and be completely fine.
Then forced to use ult to actually stay alive. And Lulu ult being used onto the Swain, there is no threat there. Nice E onto the Galio. Galio is able to tank out most of the damage.
Looks like Lee Sin's going for a flank here. No Swain ult, no Lulu ult. Lands the Q, has the flash, could go for the flash kick, decides not to. Baits out the Swain ult, actually. So if they can get out of here, this is going to be really nice.
They just force the clone behind them. Nice Q back in from the Lee Sin. Nice heroic entrance as well to keep him alive, but Kha'Zix has already rotated over. Find nice engage back onto him. That's a huge health advantage. Big first turret is losing the 1v1 against the Kha'Zix, then gets the kill, and that's all three falling down in the mid lane.
Yeah, and the Rift Arrow gonna be spawned. Nobody spawning on the side of Los Riddlers for the next 15 seconds. We'll have to see. Will the game end here? Definitely a misplay by Decimate there. Should have just drifted the Herald right past that tier 1 and into the tier 2, but it doesn't really matter, I guess. Going to be able to take at least this tier 2 turret.
And we do see a somewhat tank Lulu build coming out here with the Frozen Heart. But unlike when we saw it from Slime, Decimate is so far ahead. Kha'Zix has got 5-1 and 2 after a very poor laning phase. There's plenty of damage around this Lulu.
Clearly the game has completely swung in the favor of TTV Emilya. Any hope that Los Riddlers had of winning this game is pretty much gone. Swain picking up the Giant's belt, going to be even tankier. Also has the tier, so... and the Elixir of Sorcery. So looking to end the game here, Elixir of Sorcery. The main benefit, of course, is the additional true damage done to turrets.
You gotta think that TTV Emilya might just do the classic group up in mid. Gonna need to make sure that they get back into defend this, because if they don't get back anytime soon, there's only one turret left. It's Lee Sin doesn't have any good wave clear necessarily.
And both the Zed and the Galio do teleport. Galio will teleport now.
I don't think that's enough. They need to get in the Zed here as soon as possible. He doesn't initiate the TP. Eventually. They're not going to necessarily have an amazing wave clear for this wave. They are able to fin it out, but Joe takes a huge chunk and is forced away. They'll be able to heal back in the fountain and come back to this turret, but they are slowly going to be able to tick away this turret if they keep getting successful polymorphs like that. And with no wards on the Lee Sin for a couple of seconds, it's going to be hard to find any kind of kick as well.
Yeah, no wards,
already
no
down
flash.
To half HP the turret. They do clear out the wave successfully though, but at this point it's now both teams just gathered around this one turret until either team can find a way to find an engage or find this turret falling down. Now slowly getting some chunks onto Swain, but Swain has ult available to him. Then ult does come out. Do ult instantly on the engage. Keeps the Kha'Zix alive. Swain gets kicked over the wall, instantaneously flashes back in with ult still ongoing. Both Lee and Zed are half health. And the Galio is just going to have to block away for him. And now we just wait for the next wave yet again. He's going to walk away and heal back up. Will allow some turret damage to fall onto this turret.
It looks like they still want to push, but it's going to be hard. No ultimates for anybody. Kha'Zix flashing in. Lee Sin does come back in time. Kha'Zix does fall. Decimate is quite low. But the Galio has no mana to follow up on any of the Lee Sin's opportunities. And so it's a 1-for-1 trade, and this turret is getting lower continuously. Yeah, I think maybe TTV Emilya are going to have to think about either taking the Otacon or waiting for the Baron to spawn, because it seems like just running it down mid as 3 hasn't been the solution for them. Especially the next time that they try to do that, Lee Sin will have a flash up, could go for some kind of insect, so they're going to have to be careful.
We are seeing some decent responses from Lost Riddlers, but you would want to see them a little bit more coordinated than they have been so far. And this Lulu's polymorphs have been absolutely massive. They had a huge opportunity for a Galio taunt, but the Lulu polymorph denied the entire action.
Also important to note is that Decimate has no flash. The Lee Sin kicked the Swain over the wall in that last fight, so the Swain was forced to flash back in.
They might want to look for something now, but they don't know if the Kha'Zix is here yet.
Yeah, Zed got a sneaky little flank, placed the Shadow, is behind them now. If they're gonna go, they have to go now.
Lulu has ult available though, and is polymorphed the Zed out of it again. And it does get the taunt onto Swain, but neither Zed or Lee Sin are able to follow it up.
Yeah, no Zed ult, that's a huge cooldown for them. TTV Emilya can feel a lot better with pushing here. Maybe not necessarily on this wave, as it is just a normal wave, but the cannon wave is coming.
They definitely need to bait out this Lulu ult before that cannon wave. Nice Finn on the wave. Denies as much damage as possible. Lulu is massively chunked. Lee Sin does go for the engage, but is completely knocked out of it with the Lulu ult. Heroic entrance to save the Lee Sin potentially, but he still falls down under the turret. Elio goes back in to try and find the taunt. Taunt's only one. Zed isn't able to find any way into this fight. Luke takes a turret shot, but the Swain is under the turret with the ult. Many players are constantly low, but the Kha'Zix finds the leap engage onto the Zed, and that is the turret, that's the inhibitor, and that's game.
Yeah, 25 minutes, so the longest game time that TTV Emilya has experienced. Able to find the win with their unconventional draft.